We're here with Sean Brown, CIO of Pentana Solutions. Sean, you're relatively new to the CIO role. How does a new CIO go about making his mark on an organisation?
I think you've got to be real careful if you're a new CIO coming into the organisation. Is you don't want to change everything. Not everything's broken or change everything for change's sake. I think the best thing you can do is look at what your executive want, what your customers want, and make sure you can actually achieve it. That's what I'm doing here. I'm looking at things that we can actually achieve, not trying to promise the world, but going, we can do this, this and this by these dates, and hitting those dates. And the best thing is build credibility straight away. That's what you should be doing, and that's how you can put your mark on your organisation, by going, okay, when IT says they're going to do something, they follow through and they make it.
Sure. So I suppose setting a strategy that can be achieved.
Yeah, it's that strategy, the platform of actually building on something better and better over years and years. Because really, you want to set it up, build it up, and then bring up other people to take that, and then you move on and build bigger and better things.
Sure. Now, a recent Gartner report showed that the three major tech challenges for CIOs today are BI, mobility and the cloud. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think they're very good. I mean, I think the cloud is something that a lot of our customers and a lot of the world are looking at now, saying, do I really want to have a server in my back room and look after it? That's a big push for us. BI is growing more. Our financial customers are going, hey, I want to data mine this great data that we have for years and years and find trends. And mobility is the really sexy one, where people want to take their mobile everywhere they go and have that information instantly. So those are three main focus for us and the industry. I think it's really important.
Okay. And what do you see as the most crucial aspect to the role of a CIO?
I think setting the strategy and the path, to come in and go, this is where we can be in 1, 3, 5 years, and then really selling that vision to your team and to the wider community of the business, to go, this is where we can do, this is what we're going to achieve, and then just back it up. You can talk, but if you don't back it up, it's worthless.
Sure. And you mentioned you've been in IT for 20 years. How have you seen the role of the CIO change, and where do you see it changing in the future?
The biggest thing I've seen when I first started as a developer is that CIOs sat at the top of the building. You never spoke to them. You would hardly see them. They'd be these special elite people. But I think it's changing now, where the CIOs are kind of dropping the tag on the CIO. They really kind of go, I'm a good technical person who understands the business, and that's where it's coming more. It's really being that bridge between the business and the technology teams to build that bridge, and that's how you're going to achieve. So that's where I see the biggest changes, where the CIO is now way more accessible, and they're not this person who sits on the top floor. You never see them.
Sure. And big question, as a CIO, what keeps you up at night?
Probably two things. The projects that I have in the pipeline, I still very much go, we better hit that target. We better hit that target, because ultimately, I'm the one who's going to go to the executive and to the shareholders and all my stakeholders and go, yep, we missed that target. Even though it could have been 100 other reasons, that's going to ultimately be my responsibility. That keeps me up at night.
Sure.
And also just making sure that we understand what's the next big thing, trying to find the next big thing. I want to be the one who's goes to our group and goes, you know what, here's X, and it's going to revolutionise the DMS world.
Sure. Okay. And what advice would you give others looking to become a CIO one day?
Probably two things. Forget about the title CIO. It's great to have, but really is push it to the side and just be a really good technology business manager and understand how that plays in your business. And the other one is to understand the role. If you go into any role, especially CIO role, you need to understand what your stakeholders, your executive want from you. If you're not achieving that, then you could be the greatest whatever, but you're not doing what you want to do or what your executive wants. So know the role and just forget the tag, I think.
Okay, fantastic advice. Well, we're talking with Sean Brown from Pentana Solutions. Join us in our next video where Sean's going to talk to us about the changing perceptions of IT in business.